Hello, welcome to Perspectives, different angles for the same situation. Communication in WhatsApp groups. A common theme nowadays, everyone is using WhatsApp or Telegram. And communication is key when we create groups in these tools. We're going to see three sides for the same story, problems occurring in these groups, for you to understand better. Remember, these are fictional, exaggerated, and do not represent the truth examples. Create your own. Think about it. We're going to go now for the first side. We're going to call it my side. I am part of a WhatsApp group, and who isn't? For the residents of the building where I live in. We are 84 apartments. When the building manager needs to announce common topics, he uses this group for reminders about, let's say, meetings, pest control schedules, garage gate maintenance, pool treatments, new staff hires, or security tips. When a resident needs a service provider recommendation, they also use the group to ask for painters, awning installers, washing machine repairs, or internet providers, for example. In many cases, more than I like, the resident making the recommendation starts using the group to show off. For example, they send massive tests or audio clips explaining how they set up a mega blaster internal network using heaven knows what. Or someone asks for a Mensa, for example, and the person recommending them sends a message detailing their own massive expensive renovation in their apartment. Or a third example, insurance. The people or the person recommending the insurance company for whoever asked for details, values they got for their cars and for their houses and for this and that. It feels like they just want to flaunt their expensive cars or their perfect lives or expensive apartments renovations. Honestly, if we want to show off, that's their business. But these giant messages are unnecessary. This WhatsApp group of the residents of the 84 apartments is losing its purpose of informing people about important building matters. If you want to go into details, please use a private chat. Fewer and fewer residents are reading the group because it's cluttered. The building manager already asked everyone to be succinct and take long conversation to private messages. But out of the 84 apartments, 60, let me say again, out of the 84 apartments, 60 has already stopped using and reading what's in this WhatsApp group. We're going to go now to the second side of the same story about WhatsApp group communication. We're going to call it your view. I think it's great to share and recommend good professionals to other residents. Since we are 84 apartments in the building I live in, we should share our experiences. When someone asks for a recommendation for a service provider of any sort, I make a point of sending a suggestion. I try to provide as much detail as possible so that the other residents have the information they need to choose the best provider for their specific needs. I don't mind sharing everything my provider did or how I complemented the service. For instance, I chose my internet based on my home office and Netflix usage, and I set up my own internal network. If someone else needs help setting up theirs, they know I can assist. I think it's nice for neighbors to know what others have done in case they need help. Isn't this a public loop for the residents? It's exactly the place for this. I don't see a problem with spending 15 minutes a day reading about where we live in our WhatsApp group. Even if topics are repeated because someone forgot or didn't read an earlier message, it's no big deal. Long messages just provide better detail on matters that interest everyone. Okay, so now let's go to the third side of the story. Remember, we saw my side, someone complaining about the WhatsApp group communication, your side, the person that doesn't care about WhatsApp group communication problems, and we're going to see now the third side. We're going to call it the truth. Out of politeness and good manners, WhatsApp groups should have a specific objective. There's nothing wrong with sharing what you've done or recommending a provider. However, when it comes to the nitty-gritty details, why can't the person recommending just open a private chat with a person who asked? Why? This prevents the group from losing its primary purpose. We cannot assume that everyone has the time or the desire to read long stories between two neighbors. Nobody needs to see a play-by-play of every person say they donated to a sorry, they donated to a toy charity drive. Why do you need everyone to know you helped? To set an example or to look good to others? Why? To show off? Furthermore, people shouldn't be too lazy. Again, people shouldn't be too lazy to use the search function in WhatsApp group to see if a topic has already been discussed. For example, the manager sends a notice about plumbing issues, and the next day, a resident asks if there's a problem with water. Is it laziness? A lack of concern for issues that don't immediately affect them? Why don't you take 60 seconds to think before posting or to search previous messages to keep the group functional? Do you have to ask the same thing that was already discussed yesterday? If the group stays succinct and relevant to all the 84 apartments, people will actually continue to read and participate. Remember, we're not all the same. Respect others. What would you do in this situation? If you were the manager or a resident, would you let the situation continue as it is, since you don't want to cause friction? Even if only 24 out of the 84 apartments are still reading, 60 apartments are not reading anymore this WhatsApp group. Or would you propose something different? Perhaps asking the manager to moderate unnecessary topics or politely requesting that neighbors take two-person conversations to private messages. Think about it. Okay, today we saw that every story has at least three sides: mine, yours, and the truth. And who knows whatever more sides that same story may have. Why? Because we interpret the world through our own eyes based on our own personal beliefs, values, and experiences. And no one is equal or an exact copy of one another. Always consider this when arguing or having discussions and conversations with others. Take care on what you're writing, saying, or typing. Live and make others live better. Think about it.